The gravel crunched under my boots like shattered glass as I crested the ridge, heart pounding not from the climb but from the way Wesley's laugh echoed behind me. Too loud, too forced, like he was trying to outrun something we both knew was chasing us. "Kyle, wait up. Man, you're killing me here," he called, his voice rough from the altitude. But when I turned, his eyes weren't on the trail. They were on me, lingering in that split-second way that made my stomach twist. I forced a grin, wiping sweat from my brow. But inside, the truth clawed at me. This weekend in the Smoky Mountains was supposed to fix us, not break what little we had left. We'd been best friends since freshman year at UNC Chapel Hill. Wesley, the golden boy quarterback with his easy smile and linebacker build. Me, the artsy queer kid from Raleigh who somehow ended up in his orbit. He was straight as an arrow, or so everyone said, dated cheerleaders like it was his job. But there were moments, the way he'd crash on my dorm couch after breakups, his head on my shoulder as we binge-watched old westerns, the late-night drives to the coast where he'd confess his fears about the NFL draft in whispers that felt too intimate for bros. I loved him, had for years, buried it deep under layers of denial and just friends bullshit. Coming out to him sophomore year, he hugged me tight, said, "Dude, you're still my guy," and that was that. Or so I thought. This hike was his idea, a reset after I ghosted him for a month post-graduation. I'd landed a gig illustrating book covers in Asheville. He was grinding through training camp with the Carolina Panthers practice squad, and our texts had dwindled to memes and "miss ya, bro." But then he showed up at my door 2 weeks ago, 6-pack of IPAs in hand. I shadowed like he'd been punched. "We need the woods, Kyle. Like old times. Clear our heads." I said yes because saying no to Wesley was like stopping the tide, pointless and exhausting. The trail wound through rhododendron thickets, the air thick with pine and damp earth, the kind of Tennessee wilderness that swallowed secrets whole. We'd parked at Klingman's Dome at dawn, shouldering packs heavy with jerky, whiskey, and the unspoken weight of 23 years. My legs burned as we pushed toward the backcountry site, but it was nothing compared to the ache in my chest every time he brushed past me, his arm grazing mine accidental on purpose. "Remember that time we snuck out to Jordan Lake?" Wesley panted, catching up as the path leveled into a false summit. His Carolina blue tee clung to his sweat-slicked torso, highlighting the tattoos snaking up his ribs, a wolf for his pack, a compass for the directions he never took. I laughed, short and sharp. "Yeah, you dared me to skinny dip, then chickened out yourself. Froze your balls off yelling for me to throw your shorts back." He shoved my shoulder, playful but with that edge, his hand lingering a beat too long. "Hey, I was protecting your virtue. Coach would have benched me if word got out I corrupted the team artist." His grin faded as we crested another rise, the valley sprawling below like a green bruise under the relentless July sun. We'd planned 3 days out here, no service, no distractions, just us and the AT's endless ribbon. By midday, we hit a stream crossing, the water icy from mountain snowmelt. Wesley stripped to his boxers without a second thought, wading in like a god from some forgotten myth, muscles coiling as he splashed me. "Your turn, fairy boy," he hollered, the old nickname we'd turned into armor after I came out. I hesitated, heat rising not from the sun, but from the way his wet shorts hugged his thighs, the V of his hips disappearing into the current. Fuck. I was staring. He noticed. Of course, Wesley always noticed. "You good?" He straightened, water dripping from his lashes, voice dropping low. "Yeah, just thinking about that job offer in New York. The real offer was from a gallery in Brooklyn, but I turned it down because leaving Asheville meant leaving proximity to him, to the scraps of his life he tossed my way. He nodded, too quick. New York's got that vibe for you. All those lofts and late nights. There was a hitch in his tone, like envy or something sharper. He turned away, fishing lures from his pack for the afternoon's fishing detour. I stripped down, the cold shocking my skin, and dove in after him, letting the rush numb everything. That night, our first camp was a firelit hollow ringed by hemlocks, the flames crackling as we roasted trout he'd caught with infuriating ease. Whiskey loosened our tongues. Stories of college parties, his ex-Sarah's meltdown at prom, my awkward first date with a barista who ghosted me mid-coffee. But as the bottle emptied, the air thickened. "You ever think about it?" Wesley asked, staring into the embers, his profile sharp against the glow. "Us? I mean, not like. But if things were different." My heart slammed against my ribs. "Different how?" He shrugged, poking the fire. "If I wasn't, you know, straight. Or whatever." The word hung there, brittle. I waited, breath held, but he just drained his cup and muttered, "Forget it." Trail fever. I didn't sleep. The nylon of my tent felt like a coffin, his snores filtering through the wall a cruel lullaby. Dawn broke gray and drizzly, and we broke camp in silence, the path turning steeper toward Mount LeConte's shadows. By noon, the rain had turned the trail to mud, our boots sucking at every step. Wesley slipped first, cursing as he went down on one knee, pack thudding beside him. I offered a hand, our fingers locking, his calloused from weights, mine ink-stained from sketches. For a second, neither let go. His eyes met mine, brown and stormy, and something electric arced between us, raw and unnamed. "Careful," I said, voice husky. He pulled me closer instead of up, our faces inches apart, breath mingling with the petrichor. "Kyle." It was a whisper, a plea, and then his lips crashed into mine, desperate, tasting of rain and regret. My world tilted. I kissed back, hands fisting his wet shirt, the trail forgotten. It was everything I dreamed in stolen moments. His stubble scraping my jaw, his body pressing solid and warm against mine. But then he jerked back, eyes wide with horror. "Shit. Fuck. I didn't. It's okay," I gasped. But it wasn't. He scrambled up, shouldering his pack, face pale as the fog rolling in. "We can't. I'm sorry. This was a mistake." He bolted ahead, leaving me knee-deep in mud, the kiss burning like a brand. The rest of the day blurred, trudging in his wake, the silence a chasm wider than the ravine we skirted. Camp 2 was a ledge overlooking the abyss, the wind howling our accusations. He built the fire without a word. I sketched in my journal, charcoal smudging tears I wouldn't let fall. That night, he cracked. "I think I'm bi, Kyle. Or something. Been fighting it since college. You were always there, and I..." His voice broke, fists clenched. "But Sarah's pregnant. I knocked her up before training camp. We're getting married in September." The world ended in that instant, betrayal sharper than any blade. He'd known. All this time, the reset, the almosts, the kiss, it was a farewell he couldn't voice. I laughed, bitter and hollow. "Congrats, Wes. Real American dream." He reached for me, but I flinched. "It's not like that. I love her, But you're my heart. Save it. I zipped into my tent. The zippers rasped the only sound as thunder rumbled distant threats. Morning came with a vengeance. Sheets of rain lashing the tarp we'd rigged, turning our ledge into a slip and slide straight to hell. I lay there, staring at the tent's sagging roof, replaying the kiss like a glitchy film reel. The heat of his mouth, the tremor in his hands, then the recoil that gutted me. Pregnant. Married. The words looped, a noose tightening. Wesley's voice filtered through the nylon, muffled by the storm. Kyle, we gotta move. Flash flood warning on the radio app. Spotty signal. But it's bad. I didn't answer. Let him stew. But survival's a bitch. 20 minutes later, we were breaking down camp. Pack sodden, faces set in grim masks. The trail down was a riverbed, rocks slick as betrayal, every step a reminder that trust, like footing, could vanish in a heartbeat. He tried talking once, during a huddle under an overhang as lightning cracked the sky. Last night. Panicked. It's not just Sarah. My agent's breathing down my neck. Scouts whisper about distractions. And if word gets out I'm questioning shit. The draft's toast. But you, Kyle, you're not a distraction. You're the only real thing. I snorted, rain dripping from my hood. Real enough to kiss on a mountaintop. Then ghost for a shotgun wedding? Classy. Wes. Real Southern gentleman. His jaw tightened. That quarterback steal I'd seen bulldoze defenses. It's not fair. I know. But love's messy. You think I wanted this? Waking up every day wanting what I can't have. Can't or won't. The words sliced. But they needed saying. We'd hit a junction, left to the shelter, right to the longer loop back to the car. He pointed left. I veered right. Go your way. I'll catch up. Kyle, don't be stupid. Storm's closing in. First smart thing you've said. But as thunder boomed, I relented, the pragmatist in me overriding the masochist. We pressed on together, the silence heavier than the packs. The shelter was a ghost town. Hikers hunkered in soggy sleeping bags, sharing trail mix and ghost stories. We claimed a corner, dripping and defeated, the wood stove's heat a mocking comfort. Wesley stripped to thermals, oblivious or uncaring to the stairs. I buried myself in my sketch pad, lines blurring into abstract hurt. A figure on a cliff, arms outstretched to avoid. One grizzled thru-hiker, beard like Spanish moss, eyed us over his pipe. Lovers quarrel? Seen it 100 times on this stretch. Mountains strip you bare. Truth comes out, ugly as sin. Wesley flushed crimson. Nah, just bros hashing shit. The old man chuckled, smoke curling. Brothers don't look at each other like that, son. Whatever it is, own it before the trail owns you. His words hung as night fell, the shelter a chorus of snores and whispers. Wesley slid over, our sleeping pads inches apart, the air thick with wet wool and tension. He's wrong, he murmured, so low only I heard. About owning it. I can't. Not yet. Then don't whisper it now. I turned away, but his hand found my arm, tentative, scorching through the fabric. Please. Just let me hold you. Like old times. No more. Against every screaming instinct. I nodded. His arm draped over my waist, breath warm on my neck. And for a stolen hour, it was almost enough, his heartbeat syncing with mine, a fragile truce against the storm. But dawn brought clarity, and with it, the chasm yawned wider. We summit Le Conte by noon, the clouds parting like a cruel joke to reveal vistas that stole breath. Layers of blue ridges fading to Carolina haze, hawks wheeling lazy circles. Wesley paused at the overlook. Pack off, face tilted to the sun. This is why I dragged you out here. Remember our pact? Post-grad. We'd conquer something epic. This was it. I leaned on my poles, wind whipping my jacket. Epic's one word for it. Bitterness edged my tone. But underneath, nostalgia tugged, nights in his truck bed stargazing. His confessions about a closeted uncle who'd drunk himself to death in the 80s. The Bible Belt's invisible noose. He turned, eyes searching. I meant what I said about bye. You, Kyle. Always has been. But Sarah. She's family now. The baby's got my last name. My blood. I can't bail. And I can't be your mountain fling. The words cracked like the thunder yesterday. You kissed me like you meant forever, then dropped the bomb. That's not love. That's cruelty. His face crumpled, hands raking through rain-matted hair. I know. God, I know. But if I choose you, I lose everything, team, town, the version of me they all expect. Then lose it. My voice rose, echoing off the rocks. A couple of day hikers glanced over, but fuck them. Or don't. But stop half-assing my heart. He stepped closer, too close, the heat of him a siren call. What if I don't have to choose? What if we? No, I backed up, heart hammering. That's the betrayal talking. You don't get to dangle what-ifs while slipping a ring on her finger. The descent was brutal, switchbacks that punished knees and resolve. We hit a cascade by late afternoon, the water thundering over mossy boulders, a natural amphitheater of spray and roar. Wesley stripped again, diving into the pool below with a whoop that sounded half-mad. I followed, the cold a slap that cleared my head, but when I surfaced, he was there, treading water, ice fierce. Swim with me, he said, not a request. We floated, current tugging, the world reduced to ripples and ragged breaths. Tell me about her, I said finally, needing the knife twist to ground me. Sarah. Why now? He sighed, water lapping his chin. One night after a scrimmage. Too much bourbon, too little thinking. She's thrilled, talks nurseries, my jersey on the wall. But every time I picture it, you're there in the shadows, sketching our kid instead. The image hit like a gut punch, impossible, intoxicating. Stop! But my hand found his under the surface, fingers lacing, a secret anchor. We dried by the bank, sharing a smoke I bummed from my pack, the tobacco bitter as regret. My old man would disown me, he admitted, exhaling gray veils. Says queers are a phase, like acne. But he's wrong. This, us, it's deeper than that. Then fight for it. My plea hung fragile. He crushed the butt, standing. I am. Just give me time, time. The word mocked as we shouldered packs for the final push to the car, the trail flattening into pine-scented ease. But ease was illusion. By dusk, as fireflies blinked to life, Wesley's phone, miracle signal at the trailhead, buzzed alive. Texts from his agent, Sarah's voicemails sweet and insistent. He stared at the screen, thumb hovering, then typed a reply I couldn't see. Everything good? Casual, like my world wasn't unraveling. Yeah. Picking out rings online. His smile was plastic, eyes dead. Betrayal's second act, dismissing the spark we'd kindled, choosing normalcy over the wild truth of us. I nodded, throat tight. Lucky her. The car ride back was purgatory, AC blasting against the humid night, country radio crooning about lost loves and dusty roads. He dropped me at my apartment, engine idling like a getaway car. Thanks for this, Kyle. Best reset ever. I slammed the door harder than intended. Yeah. Epic. Inside. Alone. I slid down the wall, sobs racking me silent and savage. The Smokies had stripped us bare. All right. Exposed the love I'd hoarded, the cowardice he'd hidden. And now, with wedding bells tolling distant, I wondered if the trail's real danger wasn't the storm, but the quiet erosion of what-ifs into never-weres. Weeks blurred into a haze of avoidance. My inbox filling with Asheville Gallery invites I ignored, sketchbooks piling with half-formed portraits of Wesley's face, shadowed and yearning. He'd text sporadically, practice sucked. Miss our runs. Or saw a wolf on a jog, thought of you. I'd reply with emojis, neutral as fog. But each ping was a hook in my gut, reeling me back to that mountaintop kiss, the underwater clasp, the lies we'd both swallowed. August scorched Carolina, the air thick as grief, and I threw myself into work, a commission for a queer romance novel cover. Ironically, two men silhouetted against a stormy sea, hands almost touching. The editor loved it. I hated how it echoed my own unfinished story. Then, the invite arrived, digital gold embossed. Wesley James Harlan and Sarah Elizabeth Monroe request your presence. September 15th. A barn venue in the Piedmont. Strings of lights and mason jars screaming rustic Americana. I stared at the screen, thumb itching to delete. But deletion wasn't absolution. It was cowardice, and I'd had enough of that. RSVPing yes felt like signing my own death warrant. But no, that was admitting defeat, letting him erase me from his narrative. So I clicked attending, added a note. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Bro, sarcasm dripped like venom, but he wouldn't see it. The wedding weekend hit like a freight train. Rehearsal dinner at his folks' sprawling ranch outside Charlotte, where the air smelled of horse manure and magnolias. Wesley looked domesticated. Khakis crisp, hair tamed, Sarah on his arm in sundress glory, her bump just starting to show under the fabric. She was sweet, disarmingly so, hugged me like an old friend, gushed over my talent after seeing my portfolio on Insta. Wes talks about you all the time. His muse, he calls you. I forced a laugh, beer bottle sweating in my grip. Yeah, must be bored in camp. His eyes met mine across the grill, where his dad flipped burgers with dad joke precision. Nah, Kyle's the spark. Always has been. The double meaning landed like a shank, and I excused myself to the barn, punching a hay bale until knuckles bled. That night, the groomsmen crashed in the guest house, Wesley and me sharing the loft again. Irony's cruel callback. The others snored off whiskey. We lay awake, ceiling fan whirring lazy circles. You came, he whispered, voice raw. Wouldn't miss seeing you miserable. Harsh, but true. Moonlight slanted through the slats, gilding his bare chest. He rolled toward me, propping on an elbow. I'm not. Not really. Sarah's good people. The baby's gonna be perfect. And you? The quarterback with a secret sketchbook boyfriend. The words tumbled, reckless. His hand ghosted my arm, tracing a vein. Shut up. Then he kissed me. Slow this time, deliberate, like savoring contraband. I melted into it, traitor body arching, But midway, reality crashed. The ring on his finger tomorrow, the vows sealing him away. I shoved him back, gasping. What the fuck? Wes, this is your bachelor night. Go fuck a stripper or something straight guy. I don't want that. I want. He broke off, frustration etching lines around his mouth. You. Here. Like this. Then call it off. My whisper was fierce, eyes burning. Walk away. We can figure the baby out, co-parent, whatever. But don't do this to us. He sat up, head in hands. It's bigger than us. Dad's already bragging to his buddies at the mill. Mom's monogrammed the towels. And the team. Cal. If I bail, I'm the flake. The fag. Career over before it starts. So I'm the dirty secret? The hike fling you regret. Pain laced every syllable. Hot as the summer night. No! He lunged, pinning me gently, forehead to mine. You're the reason I breathe. But love's not a fairy tale. It's compromise. Sacrifice. For her. Not me. I twisted free, rolling to the edge. Go to sleep, groom. Big day. Dawn found us civil strangers, breakfast chatter about fantasy football. Sarah's glow stealing the show. The ceremony was a Pinterest fever dream. Hay bales and wildflowers. An officiant with a drawl thick as molasses. Wesley in a linen suit that made my chest ache. I sat third row, sketchpad hidden in my lap, capturing stolen glances. His eyes flicking to me during vows, a plea or apology I couldn't decode. The reception blurred into twangy bluegrass and open bar, cousins two-stepping under lantern light. I nursed a bourbon, cornered by his aunt who mistook me for that artist fellow Wes rooms with. Her gossip a knife twist. Then he was there, bow tie loose, cheeks flushed from cake and congratulations. Dance with me, he said, hand extended. Not a question. The floor was packed. No one batted an eye at two guys swaying to Sweet Caroline. His palm on my back burned through my shirt, our bodies remembering the trail's intimacies. You look good, he murmured into my ear, breath hot. You look trapped, petty, but earned. He pulled back, searching my face. Walk with me? 5 minutes. We slipped out to the paddock. Fireflies dancing like lost souls. The barn's laughter a distant hum. He lit a cigarette, bad habit from stress, exhaling shakily. I told Sarah. About the kiss. Us. My blood froze. And she's cool. Thinks it's hot. Even. Said we could. Explore. After the babies settled. His grin was tentative. Hopeful. Betrayal's third wave, not rejection, but commodification. Explore? Like I'm your side quest? Fuck that. Wes. I'm not a kink for your marriage. His face fell. It's not. I want you in my life. Any way I can. Then fight fair. No half measures. I stepped back, the night air cooling my rage. Or let me go. He crushed the smoke, advancing until we were chest to chest. I can't, and kissed me again. Fiercer, hungrier, hands cupping my jaw like I was salvation. I fought it for a heartbeat, then surrendered, tongues tangling in the shadows, the world narrowing to his taste, his groan. But headlights swept the drive, Sarah calling him back. He broke away, eyes wild. Wait for me. After the honeymoon. We'll talk. Talk's cheap. I watched him go, the screen door slapping like finality. The drive home was a blur of interstates and introspection, neon motels flickering past like false promises. Back in Asheville, I deleted his number, blocked the texts, dove into a new series of paintings, fractured landscapes, figures on edges, titled Trails Untaken. October leaves turned blood red, mirroring the slow bleed of hope. Then, mid-November, the call came, not from him, but his mom, voice cracking over the line. Kyle, honey, it's Wesley. Car wreck on 40. Drunk driver. He's in the hospital. Bad. The world inverted, guilt crashing like the smoky storms. I was in Charlotte by midnight. ICU's sterile hum a dirge. He lay tubed and bruised, monitors beeping fragile life. Sarah sat vigil, hand on her belly, eyes red-rimmed but kind. He asked for you. Before, I took his hand, limp and cold, whispering apologies and I love yous into the void. Days blurred, vigils, coffee dregs, her stories of their quiet joys. He loves you different, she said one dawn, as machine's word. Not less. Just layered. I nodded, throat too tight for words. On day 5, his eyes fluttered open, focusing on me with that old spark. Kyle. Sorry. Shoo. Tears spilled. Just heal. But healing's a jagged path. And as winter gripped the south, I wondered if ours could ever straighten. Winter in the Carolinas is a sly beast. Mornings crisp as fresh newsprint. Afternoons thawing into deceptive warmth. Nights that claw at your bones with what-ifs. Wesley's recovery was a marathon of small victories. First steps down the hospital corridor. Grip strong enough to crush a styrofoam cup. Discharge to his folks' ranch where Sarah fussed like a hen. Her bump now a proper curve under oversized sweaters. I visited weekly, driving the 2 hours from Asheville under gray skies, bearing contraband comics and sketchpads to distract from the elephant in the room, or the ghost, depending on the light. He looked better each time, color returning to his cheeks, that lopsided grin peeking through painkiller's fog. But the conversations skirted edges. Football highlights on the muted TV. Baby names batted around. They'd settled on Harlan James for a boy. After his granddad. My latest cover art earning thumbs-ups and dude, that's fire. The kiss. The wedding dance. The explore offer? Buried under bandages. Unspoken as the monitor's steady beep. Sarah was the wild card, effortlessly inclusive, baking pecan pies and asking about my dating life with genuine curiosity. Wes says you're seeing that barista again? The one with the tattoos. Light, but sweet. One evening, as snow dusted the pastures, she cornered me in the kitchen, stirring cocoa with maternal precision. He's scared, you know, she said, not looking up. Of losing you. Thinks the wreck was karma, driving too fast after that bachelor fight. I leaned on the counter, coffee mug warm in my palms. Karma's bullshit. But yeah, he's got choices ahead. We all do. She nodded. I soft. I meant what I said. About room for you. Not as a fling, as family. Her hand covered her belly. Quiet vow. This kid needs all the love we can scrape together. It was a lifeline. Olive branch extended over the chasm. But trust rebuilds slow, like trail repairs after a slide, and I wasn't ready to grip it. Christmas came barbed. Wesley's first holiday as husband. My solitude a self-imposed sentence. I holed up in Asheville. Studio lights blazing against the dark. Painting feverishly. A triptych of him, evolving from trail god mid-kiss, to wedding statue, to hospital wraith. Sold for a small fortune to a collector in Atlanta. who called it hauntingly American. Fitting. New Year's. He texted. Unblocked in a weak moment. Ball drop without you sucks. Come for the Super Bowl. The Panthers were out, but his fantasy league was gospel. I went. Neutral ground. A sports bar in uptown Charlotte. Wings and brews masking the undercurrent. He'd bulked back some. Shoulder sling off. But the limp lingered. A souvenir from the crash. We cheered for the Chiefs. Heckled commercials. But halftime brought the reckoning. Bathroom lines snaked long. We ducked into an alley for air. City buzz a distant roar. Missed this, he said, lighting up despite the no-smoking sign. You. Us. I shivered in my jacket, breath fogging. Us is complicated now. Ring. Baby. Vows, that's your plotline. He exhaled, smoke wreathing his face like confession. Plotlines twist. Saw a therapist. Yeah. Me quarterback on a couch. Spilling to some guy about identity whiplash. His laugh was self-deprecating. Said it's okay to love multiple ways. Poly. Maybe, if you're game. The word hung polyamory. All the rage in queer circles. But uncharted for straight-laced Wesley. And Sarah? She's in. Therapy for her too. We really talk. About the hike. The kiss. How I almost lost you both. His eyes gleamed. Vulnerable. I don't want to lose you, Kyle. Not as friend. Lover. Whatever you need. My heart thudded. Hope's treacherous bloom. What I need is truth. No more half-steps. He stepped closer. Hand cupping my neck. Thumb tracing my jaw. Truth. I love you. Fierce. Stupid. Trail-tested. Marry her? Yeah. But you're my north. Always. The kiss that followed was inevitable. Slow burn in the alley's chill. His good arm pinning me to brick. Mine tangling in his hair. It tasted of redemption. Wing spice. Possibility. We broke for air. Foreheads pressed. Laughing like idiots as fireworks popped overhead. Spring unfurled tentative. West back in light drills. Me juggling commissions and a tentative date with a sculptor who ghosted after one coffee. But our rhythm reemerged. Weekend hikes in the Uhories. Shorter loops to test his leg. Conversations delving deeper. He shared Sarah's ultrasounds. The flutter of kicks. I confessed a one-night stand that left me hollow, craving his particular gravity. One April afternoon. Picnic on a bluff overlooking Lake Norman. He sprang it down on one knee, not with a ring but a key. To the guest house. Your studio, if you want. Move closer. Be part of this. I stared. Sandwich forgotten. And the optics? Small-town whispers. Fuck him. His grin was defiant. I'm drafting next year. By and proud. Or whatever label sticks. But first us. Sarah's blessing came via video call that night. Her nursery mural in the background. Pastel wolves under starry skies. He's yours too, Kyle. We all are. It wasn't perfect. Jealousy nipped at edges. Logistics tangled like bootlaces, but we built. Summer brought the baby. A girl named Juniper Rose. Tiny fists waving like victory flags. I held her first. Wesley's eyes misty beside me. Sarah beaming exhausted. Auntie Kyle, she joked. But the word family wrapped us tight. Yet conflict simmered. His agent caught wind of entanglements. Leaked texts twisting into tabloid fodder. Panthers prospects queer secret? Wesley raged in the delivery room waiting area. Punching a vending machine till Sarah calmed him with ice chips and, we'll sue their asses. The climax hit in July. Anniversary of our hike, a barbecue at the ranch, extended family milling, reporters sniffing at the gates. Wesley, buzzed on craft beer, pulled me aside to the old oak, strings of bulbs twinkling like accusations. They're saying I'm faking it for sympathy. That you're the homewrecker. His voice cracked, fists balled. Dad confronted me, called it a phase. Like Uncle Ray, I gripped his shoulders. Then roar back. Own it. Or we're done playing house. He did, stormed the porch, mic'd guitar in hand, his hidden talent, belting an original, lyrics of trails and truths, kisses in the rain, loving without borders. The crowd hushed, cousins teary, Sarah nodding proud, his dad stone-faced but unmoving. Tabloids ate it up next day. Harlan's him. NFL hopeful comes out Polly. Betrayal's echo faded, replaced by solidarity. But not without cost. Scouts cooled, draft whispers hushed. Wesley trained harder, channeled rage into spirals that flew true. By fall, Juniper cooed at my sketches. Sarah and I swapped playlists. Wesley and I stole nights in the guest house, bodies mapping familiar territories anew. It was messy, human arguments over diaper duty, stolen kisses amid laundry piles, but rooted in the Smokies' lesson. Love endures storms, if you don't let go. October painted the Piedmont in fire, oaks blazing crimson, the air crisp with cider and change. Wesley's draft day dawned electric, the ranch decked in Carolina blue, Sarah in a jersey nursing Juniper under a quilt, me sketching the scene from the porch swing, charcoal flying to capture the tension in his jaw, the hope in her eyes. He'd poured everything into this, rehab grueling as Golgotha, public coming out a gauntlet of interviews where he owned the hike, the loves, the non-traditional family with a quarterback's poise. The call came mid-morning, third round, pick 87, to the Seattle Seahawks. Not the dream slot, but a slot press conference in Bellevue, endorsements trickling, whispers of trailblazer softening the edges. We flew out en masse. Juniper's first plane ride a gurgle of delight over turbulence. Seattle greeted with drizzle and evergreens, a far cry from southern humidity, but home in its anonymity. The move was chaos, condo in Capitol Hill, rainbow flags fluttering neighbors' balconies, my studio wedged between Wesley's weight room and Sarah's home office. Poly life in practice. Date nights rotated me and him at Pike Place, tossing fish like tourists, her and him at jazz clubs, Juniper in a sling, the three of us at Alki Beach, building sandcastles that mirrored our fragile empire. But romance's thorns pricked. Wesley's away games meant video calls laced with loneliness, Sarah's postpartum haze sparking insecurities. Am I enough for you too? My own doubts whispering that I was the outlier, the plus one in their nuclear glow. One night, post-win against the Rams, he came home euphoric, scooping me into a spin that ended against the fridge, kisses hungry and champagne tanged. Missed you, he growled, hands roaming. Stadium roars, nothing compared to this. We tumbled to the rug. Juniper asleep down the hall, Sarah at a book club, stolen bliss, bodies sinking like they'd never parted. But midway, the door clicked, Sarah home early, silhouette in the threshold. We froze, a tableau of guilt and grace. She smiled, weary but warm. Don't stop on my account. Just join. It became ritual, boundaries blurring into trust, triads in the sheets, laughter echoing off rain-streaked windows. Yet the world intruded, paparazzi staking the lobby, headlines veering from Seahawk sensation to Polly QB's playground. a viral clip from a Pride event, Wesley kissing me on stage while Sarah waved from the wings, sparked boycotts from conservative sponsors. His stats dipped, interceptions creeping, coaches side-eyeing distractions. The low point hit in December, a blizzard blanketing Seattle, trapping us indoors with cabin fever and old ghosts. Wesley stormed in from practice, cleats shedding slush, face thunderous. They benched me. Say I'm unfocused. Because of us. Sarah reached for him, he shrugged her off. No, because I'm the freak show. Should have stayed straight. Played the part. I stood, heart sinking. That's the fear talking. Not you, isn't it? He paced. A caged lion. Hike was a lark, kiss, confess, run. But this, it's real, and it's costing. Sarah's voice cut sharp. Then walk. But don't blame us for your mirrors. He deflated, sinking to the couch, head in hands. Juniper toddled over, patting his knee with sticky fingers. He scooped her up, burying his face in her curls. I'm sorry. Just scared we'll break. We talked till dawn, raw, unfiltered. My fear of being the other, her of fading into mom mode, his of the closet's echo chamber. Dawn brought pact, therapy as team sport, boundaries etched in stone, public Wesley the unapologetic one. Spring training tested it, West nailing drills, interviews laced with my family fuels me, photos of us three at T-Mobile Park, Juniper in a tiny helmet. Sponsors warmed. A beer brand touting inclusive cheers. A apparel line with Love Wins tees. By summer, he started. Throws laser-guided. The narrative shifting to resilience. Our anniversary, not wedding, but hike iversary, fell on a bye week. We drove south. Juniper in car seat babbling. Sarah navigating podcasts. The Smokies welcomed back. Same trailhead. Packs lighter, hearts heavier with history. We crested the ridge at dusk, the valley a quilt of green and gold, mist veiling the past. Wesley paused where it happened, hand in mine, Sarah snapping a photo with Juniper on her hip. Here, he said, voice thick. Where I almost lost everything, I squeezed his fingers. Where we found it. That night, camp under stars, we shared stories. Juniper's first word, dada, to all three of us. Sarah's novel draft inspired by our mess. My gallery show in Brooklyn featuring the triptych, retitled Trails Taken. Whiskey flowed, laughter healed, and as fire embers died, we tangled in the tent, hands and whispers weaving us whole. Years folded forward. Wesley's Pro Bowl nod, Sarah's bestseller on polyfamilies, my illustrations gracing billboards, Juniper starting school with 2 last names and 3 homes. Betrayals faded to footnotes, conflicts to growth pains, the hike a cornerstone in our American saga, flawed, fierce, unyieldingly human. In quiet moments, Wesley still looks at me like that mountaintop boy, eyes promising forever. And in the vastness of it all, from Carolina ridges to Pacific rains, I believe him. Love isn't a straight path. It's the detour that saves you.